In the heart of Gloucester, England, at 25 Cromwell Street, a house stood that looked like any other. A family home. Kids played in the garden, neighbors waved hello. But beneath the patio, under the cellar floor, and hidden in the walls, lay secrets so horrific they would shake a nation. This is the story of Fred and Rose West, Britain's most notorious serial killers, and the house that became known as the House of Horrors. It began with a chance meeting at a Cheltenham bus stop in 1969. A 27-year-old builder, Fred West, rough around the edges, his clothes unkempt. A 15-year-old girl, Rosemary Letts, naive but curious. She thought he was a tramp at first, but his persistent charm drew her in. What neither could have known was that this meeting would ignite a partnership so depraved, it would leave at least 12 young women and girls dead, including their own children. Their story isn't just about murder, it's about a twisted bond, a house rigged with peepholes and microphones, and a decades-long spree that went unnoticed, until a chilling family joke unraveled it all. Frederick Walter Stephen West was born in 1941 in Muchmarcle, a small village in Herefordshire. The eldest surviving son of a poor farming family, Fred grew up in a world of hard labor and dark secrets. He claimed his mother, Daisy, abused him from a young age, and his father, Walter, taught him depravity, including the act of abuse with animals. Though his brother later denied these claims, Fred's twisted view of the world was already forming. Rosemary Pauline Letts, born in 1953 in North Devon, wasn't spared a troubled childhood either. Her father, Bill, a diagnosed schizophrenic, allegedly essayed for. Her mother, Daisy, underwent electroconvulsive therapy during pregnancy, which some speculate caused Rose's strange behaviors, like staring blankly or banging her head. By 15, Rose was promiscuous, vulnerable, and searching for escape. But what turned these damaged children into monsters? Science offers a chilling answer. What makes a monster? Is it written in the blood, coded in the genes? Or is it forged in the crucible of a broken childhood? For Fred and Rose West, the answer lies in a chilling collision of both. Deep in the rural quiet of 1940s England, two children grew up in homes steeped in trauma, homes that would shape them into Britain's most notorious killers. Fred West claimed his mother essayed him, while his father introduced him to depravity. True or not, these stories rooted in his mind, twisting his view of love, control, and violence. Science tells us genetics can be a contributing factor. Studies show 50% of antisocial behavior is tied to genes, like the monoamine oxidase A variant that fuels violence in those scarred by abuse. Fred's troubled mind, paired with a childhood of alleged horrors, was a ticking bomb. Rose's abuse at the hands of her schizophrenic father, and the fact that her mother was shocked with electroconvulsive therapy while Rose was in the womb were also contributing factors that negatively affected her psyche. Research links such psychological abuse and SA to killers who torture, seek power, and kill with rage. Rose's scars ran deep, her anger a mirror to Fred's. Criminologists like Dr. Adrian Raine argue that genetics and environment work in tandem to create killers. Fred's sadistic urges, Rose's volatile rage, both rooted in trauma, amplified by a shared obsession. Studies show abused children like the Wests are more likely to turn violent, their pain spilling onto others. For Fred and Rose, their victims, young women, even their own children, became canvases for their twisted desires. Not every abused child becomes a killer, but the Wests were different. Their home at 25 Cromwell Street became a stage for their depravity, where abuse from their pasts fueled acts of unimaginable horror. As FBI profiler Jim Clemente once said, genetics loads the gun, personality aims it, and experiences pull the trigger. For Fred and Rose, all three were in perfect deadly alignment. Their story begs the question, were Fred and Rose West born to kill, or were they made? The truth, buried in their genes and their pain, may never fully be known, but the scars they left on their victims, their children, and a nation tell a story of evil that no science can fully explain. When Fred met Rose, it was a collision of two damaged souls. He was still married to Catherine Rena Costello, a woman with a troubled past of her own. Rena's daughter Charmaine and stepdaughter Anne-Marie lived with Fred in a caravan park. But Rose, young and impressionable, became Fred's obsession. Within months, she moved in, playing nanny to his children, and stepping into a nightmare. By 1972, Fred and Rose married and moved to 25 Cromwell Street, Gloucester, a house that would become their killing ground. To the outside world, they were a working-class couple with a growing family. Fred, a builder, was charming, talkative. Rose, a mother of 8, baked cakes and bought Christmas gifts from catalogs. But behind closed doors, their home was a chamber of horrors. The basement was a torture chamber. Microphones wired into bedrooms, peepholes drilled into walls. Fred and Rose lured vulnerable women, runaways, lodgers, hitchhikers, into their home under the guise of offering shelter or work as nannies. What followed was unimaginable: SA, bondage, torture, and murder. Their victims were young, often desperate. Linda Guff, 19, Lucy Partington, 21, Carol Ann Cooper, 15, Therese Siegenthaler, 21, Shirley Hubbard, 15, Juanita Mott, 18, Shirley Ann Robinson, 18, Allison Chambers, 17, and tragically, their own children, Charmaine, 8, Fred's stepdaughter, and Heather, 16, their eldest daughter. In 1971, while Fred was briefly in prison for theft, Rose snapped. She murdered Charmaine, Fred's stepdaughter, severing her fingers and toes before Fred buried her under their kitchen floor at 25 Midland Road. It was Rose's first kill, proving she was no bystander. She was Fred's willing accomplice. The bodies were dismembered, stuffed into vertical holes, their kneecaps and finger bones removed as trophies. Fred, a sadist and voyeur, reveled in the control. Rose, with her Jekyll and Hyde personality, matched his depravity, her rage sometimes surpassing his. Together they turned their home into a brothel, with Rose engaging in prostitution while Fred watched or joined in. Their children, too, suffered horrific abuse. Allison Chambers, just 17, wrote to her mother in 1979, saying she'd found a homely family with the Wests. Months later, she vanished, her remains later found in their garden. The Wests preyed on the vulnerable, exploiting a system that failed to notice missing girls from care homes or the streets. For over 2 decades, the Wests evaded suspicion. But in 1992, a chilling family joke reached the wrong ears. The West children, abused and terrified, told social workers that if they misbehaved, they'd end up under the patio like their sister Heather. Social services acted, removing the 5 youngest children from the home. In February 1994, Detective Constable Hazel Savage led a search at 25 Cromwell Street, prompted by the children's claims. On February 26, they found Heather's remains beneath the patio, strangled and dismembered. Fred confessed, claiming he acted alone. But as police dug, the horror multiplied. 9 sets of remains were uncovered at Cromwell Street, 3 more at other sites, including 25 Midland Road and fields in Kempley. Fred's detachment was chilling. He smirked, played cat and mouse with police, describing how he used a bread knife to dismember his own daughter. But the evidence pointed to Rose's involvement. She wasn't just complicit, she was a killer in her own right. Fred and Rose were arrested in February 1994, charged with multiple murders. But on January 1st, 1995, Fred ended his time on this earth in his cell at HM Prison, Birmingham, escaping justice. Rose faced trial alone, denying everything. She claimed Fred acted alone, even portraying herself as his victim. In November 1995, a unanimous jury found Rose guilty of 10 murders. The judge called her crimes appalling and depraved, sentencing her to life without parole, the second woman in modern UK history to receive a whole life order. Rose remains at HM Prison Newhall, still maintaining her innocence. The Wests' crimes left a scar on Gloucester. Their home was demolished in 1996, replaced by a public walkway, but the pain lingers. Families like Desra Chambers, whose sister Alison was among the victims, waited decades for answers. The system failed these women, vulnerable, overlooked, and forgotten. The West story is a grim reminder of how evil can hide in plain sight. Their surviving children, like May and Stephen, carry the weight of their parents' crimes, many estranged and living under new identities. Questions remain. Mary Bastholm, a 15-year-old who vanished in 1968, is still missing, suspected to be Fred's victim. Excavations at the Clean Plate Cafe in 2021 found no remains, but her fate haunts Gloucester. How many more victims are out there? Fred and Rose West turned a family home into a graveyard. Their story isn't just about the horror they inflicted, it's about the lives they stole, the families they shattered, and the city that we'll never forget. Thank you for watching this deep dive into one of Britain's darkest chapters. If this story moved you, please like, subscribe, and share to honor the victims and keep their memories alive. Let us know in the comments if you want more true crime stories like this. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.